Hello, welcome back to another episode. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. We heard Faraday inform Justin Falls at the end of The Man Who Fell to Earth episode 7 that Thomas Newton intends to bring the Anthians to Earth. With Justin and Faraday attempting to flee from Spencer, who now has complete command of the expedition, The Man Who Fell to Earth episode 8 picks up the pace. On the other hand, Mr. Khan, Pressman Thorne's personal secretary, approaches Hatch and offers him an unexpected proposition. Justin is terrified that the CIA will come for the machine once they figure out what tone Newton has been surreptitiously delivering to Anthea. And after they obtain the machine, they will most likely kill Faraday and Justin as well. She sends Molly and Portia away after realizing that her own life is in jeopardy. Spencer and his force are on their way to Origin. When Faraday and Josiah arrive at the warehouse, they immediately start destroying all of the workers' hard work. Faraday removes the quantum fusion core and hands it to Josiah, ordering him and Justin to go with the assurance that they will be found. Faraday will remain at the warehouse to thwart the CIA's plans. When Spencer and his colleagues enter the warehouse, they discover Faraday alone. The chamber was already filled with combustible gas, which they were unaware of. Faraday inflames the whole warehouse, but not before getting a gunshot, knowing Spencer will not stop until he gets Justin. The explosion does not kill anyone, but it does knock them to the ground, allowing Justin and Josiah to flee. However, Justin, who has driven quite a distance, changes her mind and turns the car around, refusing to leave Faraday. Spencer, who is barely alive, watches as Josiah drags an unconscious and seriously injured Faraday away in his arms. When Edie and Hatch arrive at the warehouse, Spencer tells her about Hatch before she can point a finger at him. He informs him about Hatch's attempt to sell Newton's patents behind her back while keeping her in the dark for years. Spencer also tells them that if they pursue Justin and Faraday, he will arrest them. Edie and Hatch have led away. Justin is at the wheel, with Josiah and Faraday in the backseat of a car that Josiah just stole from a parking lot as Justin's automobile is being tracked. Faraday informs Justin that they can only go to one person, the one who loved Newton. She pulls over to a petrol station and uses a payphone to make the call. Back in the vehicle, Faraday tells Josiah that he should bring the core to Newton anyhow. It is late at night when they arrive at Mary Lou Prescott's treatment clinic.
Look, your mom's gonna call, and you're gonna see her really soon.
Faraday is already septic from the wound, according to the female doctor on the scene, and things aren't looking good. Despite her ability to remove the bullet, she informs Justin that Faraday is on the decline. To put it another way, things aren't going well for him. Mary appeals to everyone to have faith. Hatch and Edie discuss their father after they return to the city. Edie's father, Edward, was constantly embarrassed by her, to the point that he wished she didn't exist. Hatch attempts to persuade Edie about how wrong their father has been his entire life, but Edie isn't having it. Hatch has been deceiving her for quite some time. Hatch confesses to being obsessed, but only because he understood the patents were for space-related inventions. But it doesn't mean he didn't care for Edie. Edie, on the other hand, makes it apparent that she despises Hatch even more than she despises their father. Spencer is attempting to locate Justin's vehicle, but it has been discovered abandoned at a petrol station. He screams at Tim the techie for not being able to find them. Lisa is fed up with his attitude and, after learning that MI5 and the CIA have been coordinating calls, she lashes out at him. They both realize Spencer doesn't have much time until the MI5 and CIA come, and Lisa will be their first point of contact. She aims to use this as leverage and make the entire mission work without being a puppet in Spencer's hands. Spencer will have to work as partners with Lisa if he does not want to get jailed. Justin calls Portia, who is staying at a motel with Molly. Justin wishes to speak with Molly. Justin urges Molly that she must be strong as she fights back tears. On the other hand, Molly is disappointed since her mother was meant to choose me rather than someone else. Molly responds that she no longer believes Justin when he tells her that she loves her more than everything. She goes into her room after saying this, leaving the phone with Portia. Justin's eyes welled up with tears. Mr. Khan, Pressman Thorne's personal secretary, approaches Hatch. Thorne appears to be interested in purchasing Hatch's Origin stock. Hatch raises his rate to $60 million after realizing Thorne must be desperate to give that much money for nothing. He does, however, want the money forwarded to his sister, Edie. When Josiah realizes Faraday is dying, he says how a transfusion would save him, despite the fact that he is also becoming an Anthian in a new way. Only Josiah's blood is allowed to be used. However, it has the potential to result in his death, which is why Justin is completely opposed to it. Spencer, Lisa, and the rest of the crew are investigating Justin's London flat for clues. Lisa gets a phone call and goes out to answer it. On the other end of the telephone, she is reporting to an unknown individual. Mary tells Justin about Newton's recovery. Someone will be following them to treatment, Justin explains. They could even be on their way. When Mary inquires as to who will be arriving, Justin responds with the name Clay. Mary is familiar with him. Meanwhile, Tim is able to pinpoint the location where Josiah took the automobile at Justin's residence. Also follows the trail of a phone call she made to Mount Rive Priory, a treatment facility. At the rehab, the lady doctor is set to start the transfusion process for Faraday. She appears to be dancing with her father for the last time. Josiah then sits up upright on the bed. After that, Justin goes up to Faraday and kisses him on the cheek. She then invites the women back in. The transfusion procedure begins. Following there is a shootout between Spencer and his crew, as well as the ladies, as they strive to hold the men at bay for as long as possible so the transfusion can be completed. Spencer and his guys, unfortunately, make their way inside the room. Spencer fires a shot at Mary. They put her, Faraday, and the core in the car and drive away after one of the men knocks Justin unconscious. We observe a severely wounded Mary pull herself to Josiah, who is left alone on the table. Josiah suddenly regains consciousness when she grips her hand. Mary Lou's spirit departs from her body as blood seeps from it, forming wings and giving her the appearance of an angel. Thanks for watching. Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.